The forest behind me is beautiful, but the river next to it really isn't. So what do we do about that? Well, we are going to just decorate it, I guess, but it's pretty tricky to decorate rivers, so I wanted to take you guys through the process of how I do it. As you can see over here, I've already done quite a lot of river decoration before, but because this is a little bit different, you need to start from the very first step, and that is inspiration. Over here is the first bit of river that I built in this area, and it's very rocky. I don't want my area over here to be quite so rocky, so we're going to take inspiration from this, add a little bit more dirt. So that means that we need to get some dirt. So I'm going to pull together some shulker boxes, and then we can start the first step of construction. I am standing on a couple of shulker boxes full to the brim of beautiful resources, dirt, stone, and moss. But this plain old dirt is exactly what we need right now, and that is because the base block of this river is dirt, but we've got too much sand and gravel for my liking. We're going to go through and replace it all. Also, I hate the shape of this. I think some of this area could be rounded off smooth, and of course this looks awful. So we're just going to do some basic old terraforming, nothing too crazy, and then we can actually move on and do some texturing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there is fully just a car alarm outside. Why? It's so warm in my room, I need my window open, but I can't record. Well, this is looking perfectly bland. We have a blank canvas to work with. Now, as you might expect, this grass is going to get in the way, so as I remove that, I will explain what the next step is. The next step is actually very, very simple, and it's actually doing the land part. Now, that might not make too much sense, like why not start in the water? Well, the point of the land part is it needs to connect with the forest, and the forest is the important part of this, and the river connection, I guess, is just to make it all make sense. So let's start with the forest. As I said, I want to have lots of dirt, and obviously plenty of gravel and stone or cobblestone as well. So I guess I will start by kind of figuring out the density of dirt that I like, and then I'll add in the gravel and cobblestone. So yeah, let's place some dirt, and hopefully I can gradient it nicely from this bit that I've already done. This was a nice and easy first step. All I did was placed a little bit, look back, placed a bit more, look back, placed a bit more, over and over again, until I came up with something that I actually really liked. So I'm really happy with this dirt density, but of course I'm missing quite an important part of this, and that is the grey. The cobblestone, the gravel, the mossy cobblestone, all of this wonderful details. So I think what I want to do next is actually want to do the gravel. That is because the gravel transitions nicely into the dirt, so I think having an extra large amount of gravel will help to kind of make the dirt make sense. So yeah, next let's add some gravel. No shader flashbang, but I promise it's for a good reason, so that we can see in the water properly, which is of course just as important as the shoreline. And to be honest, the gravel, it is kind of mid. As you can see over here, the gravel's actually really frequent in the ground, and that is to compensate for the amount of cobblestone. But I think over here we can stay a bit more chill with the gravel, but it feels a bit weird at the moment because I'm not used to it. That means that we need to just get placing some cobblestone and some moss, and then we can tweak things, which is of course the point. Like, we can't build this all in one go perfectly first try. So yeah, let's iterate, or more specifically, let's get towards the iteration stage by placing some cobblestone. And suddenly we're getting very close to a finished product. Yes, if I spin round and have a look, it looks great now. And if I go all the way back, suddenly this whole bay is filled and it's looking amazing. But I do want to quickly show some of the tricks that I used in this area. There's a good mixture of both cobblestone and mossy cobblestone. That's really important to kind of make these walls more interesting, because at the end of the day these stairs are just stairs, so if you can make sure that their rotation and their color varies, then you can make something that just feels easier on the eyes and less distractingly homogeneous. We've got a couple more things to do, and that is basically just this seagrass. Now I use a mixture of 2 high seagrass and lower seagrass, but the most important thing with seagrass is that you don't just bone meal the ground, because it makes horrendously ugly clumps. And if I look down here, you can really see it. Thankfully it's under the water and very hard to see normally, but yes. For this area, I'm going to do it properly, and we're going to place them one at a time with bone meal. So, yeah. Seagrass is quite simple to place, really. Just scatter it randomly, and don't put quite so much on cobblestone as you would on like gravel and dirt. Nice and easy. Right. Let's go place some grass. You know, sometimes I think it's the subtle differences that really complete a build. And the grass is a really good example of a subtle change that just makes it feel finished. But we're not done yet. Still got a few more things to do, and one thing that I really like to do, if we go over here, and let's see if I can find some, yes, low lichen. I really like low lichen. I've used it all over this forest, everywhere, all over the floor, in the trees, and as you could see there, in the water. And we're going to do that. So I'm going to use my nifty little farm. I've actually got inside my base. I feel like I probably haven't shown this for maybe 6 months. But yeah, if I go up here, just a tiny little glow lichen farm. And yep, so I will get my shears, grab some glow lichen, and then that will be one of the final finishing touches to our river. So yeah, oh, the like sun on my face with the forest. Oh my god, this build. I see this build too much to really appreciate how fantastic it is, and I love building here, so let's continue. I try not to be around here at night too much, because the mobs start spawning and it gets a bit scary, but the glow lichen really does do its job, and with the single lantern just poking through the trees, it really does have a fantastic aesthetic in this area, and I'm incapable of saying that word apparently, but yeah, I think I might be able to call this this place done. Except, yeah, I'm doing it again. This very edge here needs just the tiniest bit of extra something, and that extra something is some leaves and grass and ferns. And yeah, because I left the sand here as I built the forest last episode, it led to quite a distinct lack of grass. You can see some up here, but none really down there. So yeah, just add a little bit more life, and then we'll be done. And done. Yes, the spring of life really does complete this river edge. But we're not done in this area, because, you know, this is a Whimsicraft episode after all. I don't just want to build a river. I do want to have a look at a couple of other things, which is actually just more river. Yes, the episode of rivers. However, this bit is a little bit different, because I'm more just kind of continuing what I've started. We look over here and we look down. You can see that this is a very shoddily done job. Like, sure, some of it is like correctly gradiented, but it's not a very good job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a little bit of time just working over here, polishing it, making it feel as good as the rest, you know? And then in a similar vein over here, some of this is quite shoddily done as well. So we want to, I guess, work this out as well. Now, this bit of the island over here actually belongs to Crumb, but for some reason that you'll learn soon, I think I'm going to try and spread myself comfortably across the whole river. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. But before I do that, I want to, I guess, show you a fun little time that I had with Fern. Can I show you something? Okay. I've literally been building over the past couple of days, and I think it's like made a massive difference to my pace, but I've been staring at it too much to actually know.
I love the environment you made here.
It just feels so calming for me.
It's wonderful. Except for the zombie, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I need to do something about this guy.
I love the roots over there, how they're overhanging, uh,
Ah,
from the
yeah.
trees.
Yeah, the little cliff edge.
Yeah, I love that little detail. Like the water's worn away over time.
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that, but it does feel like that. You're right. Now I've got to do the river on the other side, which is way bigger
Oh,
and way
nice.
scarier. Alright, that was a fun time with now before we get into actual building, I remembered that conduits exist, so yeah. I don't know, sometimes I just forget things exist in Minecraft. But yeah, anyway, let's actually make some progress. Once again, I'm being plagued by the sun. You cannot see anything that I have done. But if I swim in the water, we can see. Yeah, I think the gradient is a lot better than it was before. It feels far more fluid, like the water. But if we go over here, I want to show you something very subtle that I've changed. So generally, I don't really like to edit things that I did way in the past. I like to leave them as a kind of a representation of what I used to do. So, for example, if we go over to these industrial buildings, I will never change these. They will stay exactly how they were when I made them. Over here, however, I did actually come up with a really fun idea, which I wanted to implement purely because I thought of it and it was cool. If I dive in the water, you can see that there's loads of coarse dirt right up next to where the mud is. That's of course because coarse dirt doesn't just look like it's gravelly. It also looks like that it's maybe muddy, and so it just makes the gradient feel better. So, of course, not so visible with shaders, but without shaders, it actually makes a big difference. So, yeah, glad to have found that trick, I guess. Well, we've got way more work to do, specifically avoiding those guys, but if we run over here where I finally removed the annoying guy that's been in a boat there for a million years. Actually, talking about boat moving, I run over here real quick. You can see that I've moved the parrot over here, but more specifically, our lovely zombie from Halloween is now living in this area instead. And he's still a bit snippy apparently. But no, what I am actually over here for is to look at this part. So you can see how this is like super like harsh line, just stops. Like, I don't like that. We're going to change it. We are going to kind of pull this rock a little bit further. And yeah, hopefully we get something that looks a lot better. Yeah, over here there was quite a lot of sand which I removed, and I think that really helped as well. It was actually just genuinely lazily made, so glad to have got in there and fixed it all up and made it look great. So yeah, a little bit more work to do over on this side. So yeah, let's see how much I can do. Oh, it's a full moon with the aurora borealis, the sunset, and the annoying guys with the banner, of course. Alright, progress time. This is a pretty good angle to show off what I've been up to. Yeah, just basic stuff around here now. At some point this will spread, hopefully, completely onto the other side like this tree has, but we're not quite at that stage yet, so we can move on to a new area. And that is actually quite an interesting area because it's really different to everywhere else in this base. And if I just run along this river edge, we can approach what we need to look at, and that is this industrial area. This industrial area is completely surrounded by dirt, and I think it's pretty cool to be completely surrounded in dirt like this, and it really shows the contrast of how horrendous this area is, I guess, how almost brutalist and industrial it is. But one thing that I didn't do was adapt the river to fit this place. So I think we're going to do quite a simple change really. And as you can see, we've kind of got even more to do along here. Now I did change the shape of this area in a time lapse a long time ago, but it's not decorated and I'm not a fan of that, but really over here where the sand is really where we need to get in with some texturing. So yeah, I think this one might in fact be time-lapseable. So I think what I'll do is I will get a shovel, get some more dirt, and hopefully we can transform this river edge into something that makes a bit more sense. So yep, even more river work. Let's go. Okay, people, yeah, that was a lot more dirt than I thought it was going to be. Like, you know, I was like, conservative, you know, a few stacks should be fine. Nah, it was like 15 stacks of dirt or something. It was stupid. But anyway, now we've got, once again, a blank canvas to work with. So now we can start introducing the dirt variants. So, yep, no time-lapse needed for this one. We're just going to kind of place some stuff in, I guess. I love recording and then trying to say something and my headphones are yelling in my ear, low battery. It's like, oh my. Okay, whatever. It's time to spread some dirt. Let's go. Might think that this looks fairly finished, but no, we've still got more to do, and it specifically involves these bits. So if I take a fly up, we can see that there's kind of like this dirt ring that comes round, but it kind of just stops, and then there's just gravel and sand. Don't really want to have that. We want to have a nice, or at least somewhat of a gradient. So what we can do is we can literally just come in here, depending on whether it's sand or gravel, and then just kind of gradient it just a little bit with some dirt, and it just makes it feel that little bit more textured and complete, and it just feels like it makes sense just a little bit. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around with all of these. This one I might actually just remove, but you know, like go around, just properly texture this, and then hopefully we will come out with something that I'm happy with. So yeah, a little bit more texturing to do, and then we can have a look back and review all of the stuff that we've done. You know what really completed this build? Seagrass. Yes, this really just made this build perfect. If I fly it with free cam for a second, we can really appreciate how much the seagrass makes a difference. And not only that, it's that it kind of accentuates the lore slightly, in that the seagrass is very sparse up close to the buildings, as if whether it's chemical leakage or just the rockiness in general is causing the seagrass to not grow quite as well as deeper down in the river. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed me showing off two different types of rivers, I guess, and particularly this really beautiful area. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Click my Razor affiliate link in the description. I'd really appreciate it, and like and subscribe. I will see you guys later. Bye.